Good morning. It is after that first initial snowstorm, and it was bad enough that people were actually driving on the wrong side of the highway because the rumble strip is in the middle on my left here. And as you can also see, it's 2 below. We got quite a bit of drifting, and this is not the driveway. This is in fact the highway outside the house. Usually this is the worst 4 miles of the commute to work. I hope that's still the case today. Otherwise, this is going to be a very, very long day. It's pretty fluffy snow after that third storm, and he got stuck coming in the first time, so I'm staying clear so he can try and bulldoze through. Worked the second time. I don't like when that happens. It gets me a little worried. Hello from the Hashknife. It's been a week of snowstorms and low temperatures. Today we were at about 0 degrees at 5 o'clock, and 2 hours later we hit 14 below right before sunrise. It's currently about 10 below and hopefully on the up and up, but we just fed the first round of bales to the cows and we're trying to leave the pasture. As you can see here, there we go. Made it pretty easy. As I filmed earlier, we did get a little high centered there, and I got a little concerned, but Dad's like, don't you worry, we'll get through. And he just bulldozed on through. But we were talking about how it's kind of hard right now because if you look, where our right tire is right now is where a track used to be, and I got filled in with snow and drifted. And that can be difficult because oftentimes when it gets filled in, it actually makes the snow a little bit harder in that track. So we got
when the wind compacts the snow with the velocity of the wind, or when it's just coming out down out of the sky, it's nothing there really, so no compaction. But it can be difficult. If we hit a hard wind, this would be a different story.
It's pretty fluffy right now, which is good. This particular road, Dad was saying earlier also, if it was a little wet and more sloppy, we probably wouldn't be able to go through this road. We'd have to change our feeding location a little bit because it'd be too difficult to transport, and then we'd have to try and bait the girls over with some cookies. Already fed Ears this morning. She was all about getting some feed. My hands were a little too cold to film, so I didn't. I'm trying to slowly go back to get the second round of bales, and then we saw the horses over by the cattle guard, so we'll have to go check those two. Might need to go feed the stud and the colts later. But the real thing is, like, what happens when all this occurs? Well, first off, my commute to work doubled. So instead of like an hour commute, it turned in 2 hours. So I spent 4 hours on the road yesterday, but everybody else is in the same boat. Everything just slows down. Take your time. Make sure you got your fuel topped off, which I did yesterday. I had pretty much a full tank, but I was like, you know what, with the roads the way they are, let's just top it off just in case. So I threw a couple extra bucks in there, got it topped off, headed home. Saw a semi tipped over, came across another one stalled in the middle of a pretty precarious position, and that's all over the state. That's not just our location. An entire 100-mile stretch of interstate yesterday was closed off from. You're good on the right.
Get through this.
Get to where it's a little better. There we go. Okay, now we're good. But as I was saying, an entire 100-mile stretch of road was completely closed off, and that's an interstate where there's thousands of vehicles that traverse that every single day. From Park City, Montana, which is just west of Billings, all the way through the Bozeman Pass into Bozeman, completely closed off. Usually you'll get a small strip here or there where people can kind of go into the local town, detour around the interstate and get back on and keep going, but no, the entire thing was closed off. And so everybody's just accepting the fact that you got to go a little slower, take a little bit longer time, and for those that don't, they're probably going to find their way into the ditch sooner or later. And then of course this week we spent 3 or 4 days just trying to get the driveway cleared out enough. Dad spent extra time yesterday getting all the way into the little ditch. Normally we were just doing the drive itself, but he went off to the side because there was so much snow that we kind of needed to move it out of the way. And then of course we were talking earlier, we may have to do that a little bit too, just to get better access to the hay. We did it twice already, but we'll probably have to do it a third time. While we have some weight on the back with this last bale, we're gonna come check the cattle guards real quick. I shared a video recently about checking those cattle guards, not only for the county sakes, but also for weather. Like this right here, county did nothing wrong. We just gotta make sure it's cleared because the snowfall filled it. So we gotta make sure that they can see it and they don't step across. As you can see, it's just, it looks like it's filled in and it's not. So he's gonna toss that to me. We're gonna clear this, make sure they can see these bars and they don't try to get brave and step across. We cleared the first one and now we clear the second one. There you go, all clear. That way the animals can see that there's actually space that they don't want to step. A little bit of sweat equity goes a long ways to keeping critters safe. As usual, we gotta check the water too. I came down here, I was listening for it, and it sounded like a spray. I went and checked. Everything's clear, it's coming out normal. It's just interesting how much the snow impacts the sound and kind of dampens everything, but the main water's clear. The downspout water, so to speak, is clear. We're good to go. But yeah, when it's cold like this, everything just kind of slows down. You focus on the necessities, feeding, watering, make sure everybody's good. That's pretty much all you can do. With that, you just kind of check on what you can do on the inside. If you got inside projects like we do, we're just gonna be working on that then while it's cold outside. So thanks for coming along today, and thanks until you're better paid.